Why the Bible allows concubines. The Bible mentions concubines, especially in the Old Testament. Jacob had 4 wives and concubines. King Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. A concubine was acquired as a secondary wife. She had a lower social status than a wife. Her purpose was to bear children for her master. Concubines were often servants or slaves. Men could easily discard concubines, but divorcing wives was shameful. Wives' children inherited status and property. Children of concubines did not. However, fathers sometimes provided for them. Abraham, the father of the Jews, had 2 concubines. One was named Hagar, and the other was Keturah. They bore him children when his wife Sarah could not. Jacob had 4 wives and concubines. Leah and Rachel were his cousins. Bilhah and Zilpah were slave girls, gifted to him by his wives. Jacob had 12 sons by these 4 women. King Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. Elite men often flaunted virility this way. The Bible reflected ancient Near East cultures. Polygamy was common at that time. Men wanted more children, especially sons. Sons were vital for continuing the family lineage, so concubines were used for reproduction. Concubines were also war spoils. Soldiers took female slaves after battles. Access to captive women was their reward for victory. Barren wives also approved of concubines to stay married. Though unable to conceive, they wanted to remain wed. God seems to have tolerated, not endorsed concubinage. The Bible shows the dysfunction of polygamy. Judges 8:30 records Gideon took many wives. This polygamy came later with his apostasy. He became polygamous and idolatrous. So the Bible does not approve of his polygamy. Deuteronomy 17:17 states,
"He must not take many wives, or his heart will be led astray."
Later texts emphasize marital faithfulness. Jesus taught that marriage is between one man and one woman.
"What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate."
Matthew 19:6. Monogamy reflects God's faithfulness. Adultery is strictly forbidden.
"Anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart."
Matthew 5:28. Sexual purity honors God and protects marriages. Paul advised,
"It is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality."
1 Thessalonians 4:3. Divorce was permitted, yet reconciliation was preferable. Malachi 2:16 states that God hates divorce. Concubinage was indeed a popular ancient practice, but it fell out of favor as Christianity spread. The early Christian church redefined marriage. Paul taught marriage purity and monogamy. He wrote that those chosen as elders and deacons must be blameless, the husband of one wife. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 2 and 12. This contrasted with earlier patriarchs' polygamy. Church fathers preached against concubinage, adultery, and other sexual sins. John Chrysostom wrote in the 4th century that concubinage was no less a sin than adultery. Augustine called concubinage a species of the basest fornication.